What's up, fellas? Today I'm going to do a quick review on the Hilti GX 120. This is a track fastener is what we call it in the industry. This is a pin gun, is another name for it. Some people have never seen a device like this before and have no idea what it is. It has several different sizes of nails. This particular nail is made to shoot steel directly to steel. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright fellas, I got a piece of steel beam here and a piece of, looks like 18 gauge steel strap. Now if that would have been the 1-inch pins, I would not have been able to rip that out of the concrete. They have 3/4 inch pins and 1/2 inch. The 1/2 inch probably would have held so well I would not have been able to pull that up. I did just apply a significant amount of force, well over 200 pounds, with also the impact of the inertia of that beam coming to a stop. Okay fellas, let's give this greasy beam one more chance. I'm going to shoot this thing down to the floor using the 1/2 inch pins this time. They're a little bit bigger. Show you what we got if I can find them now. These are a little bit larger. What I just shot into the concrete the first time are these smaller pins here. These are for shooting steel into steel. These are for concrete. Now, if the concrete is very old, you're going to have problems. It's just not going to take. So sometimes tap guns are all the only way you can do it. So let's give that another try. Yeah, it's going to come right up. I shot the old spot. Not a very good stick there. This concrete is extremely old. It's like 20 years old or something like that. Older. They don't do too well. On full power here. Actually, it smells like the little ones a lot better. Still a pretty significant hole. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like to fire nails straight into a steel beam. You can see the heads do bust off, some of them, but that, my friends, is on there. Even these with the heads busted off, after having had mistakes in location of the track that I've placed and have to tear it off, I can tell you right now, even when you shade these heads off, you have one hell of a time removing these things. Let's tear this off. Take a look at what we've got. So guys, what we're looking at here is the removal of the, I believe these are the 1/2 inch pins, and the other ones we saw are the 3/4. These are for steel into steel, and these also work pretty good on extremely hard concrete. You get some of that ancient stuff. I'm just going to show you how well these are in here. Oh, that's like a bullet hitting you. Bear with me, guys. It's hotter than the fires of hell in here. That's one of the nails that came out. As you can see, unscathed. The point is still on it. These things are hard as diamond. I'll show you the hole here in a second. That is literally no different from beating screws off. Let me show you what I mean here. As you can see, guys, the damn nail heads are still stuck in there. It is literally the same as screwing a screw into the beam. And look at that, boys. That is what I call power. Now you may wonder what runs this gun. I don't know if you've ever played the Star Wars video game, but Pretty sure this thing runs on the same stuff lightsabers run on. Hilti gas. So there you have that. This takes a gas cartridge and you press the button to determine how much gas you have left. Now there is a large lithium battery inside of this thing that runs this portion of the device. I don't think it runs the ignition system. There may be some kind of piezoelectric or magnetic capacitor setup or something, but the whole thing runs on baffles. It doesn't have any blowers in it. You never need to recharge the Hilti GX 120. Only the gas cartridge needs recharged. I use this thing every day. They are tough as nails. This Hilti plastic is some pretty amazing stuff. It makes the gun light, but yet very tough. This thing's been dropped many times. Very powerful weapon. If you don't have one and you hang a lot of track in hospitals and a lot of industrial jobs and stuff like that where there's a lot of steel beams, man, I'm telling you what. Let's take a look at the carnage of the floor here. The garage floor took one for the team, but don't worry, I don't build airplanes in here or nothing, so. This is the small pins. You see they did take quite a bit of a bend. I don't see any of the large pins laying around to see what happened to them. So the concrete's a little bit harder on them than the steel itself. And yeah, it's a very common practice for us to shoot steel to steel with guns. A ram set will also do this. You can shoot with the red loads. You can shoot directly into steel beams with ram sets also, but it's very hard to do. The amount of pressure required to actuate the gun, it's just too much. This has a very easy spring to it. I mean, it's almost nothing. And when you're up in a tight spot and you're trying to give it all you got to shoot a piece of track just out of reach, man, this thing's amazing. They were very smart to put a weak spring on there. So, is it worth over $1,000? Definitely. This thing will pay for itself in a week, in my opinion. If you've ever shot track up with a ram set and then tried one of these things, you're gonna love it. The old traditional pass load track fasts are junk. You got to stick batteries in them and you got to stick screws in the batteries to make them work. It's insane, and they're trash. Haven't had to clean this thing yet, though it's definitely ready for it. I don't think you're supposed to oil this thing. It's probably like a real firearm where oil is kind of a bad thing in dusty environments. It'll just gum the tool up, so you're best off not oiling at all. I could be wrong. I need to look into that. But for the most part, it's hotter than fire in here, guys. I gotta go. About ready to hit 90. So I'll leave a link in the description for this if anyone's interested in checking out the price. It is definitely worth it. All right, fellas, just a heads up. I am a foreman for a union company called Kenny Contractors, and I am bringing you this information about this particular item just to help out. I am going to try to make some money off of it. I can't lie to you about that. I will be posting a product link in the description for this Hilti GX 120, but the reason is I actually advocate this tool. I am a union carpenter and I am a foreman, and this thing is so valuable to our crew that I've been begging my boss to buy us another one. One of them just isn't enough. We only have up to a 6-man crew at a time, and I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. If your boss doesn't have one, if you're using the old crap pass loads with the batteries, man, you got to get rid of that trash. This thing is so much easier to operate. And what I like most of all about it is the spring. It's so easy to activate. I will definitely be leaving a link in the description for this bad boy. I also wanted to do the video because the general public really has no idea that such a device even exists. If you have never been a commercial construction worker, you wouldn't even know such a thing exists. That there is a gun that shoots steel together the same way nail guns shoots wood together. I don't know about you, but I find that pretty damn impressive. So There's my $225 hammer. But at any rate, it took a $225 hammer to tear that thing off of here. And it was on there pretty good. Screws are no better than that. I mean, look at that. That's a beautiful thing. How deep is that hole? Well, it's probably deeper than the nail will go back in there. But, because the nail that actually went in there is probably smashed to fit perfectly. Impressive nonetheless. Guys, I'd also like to add another point that when it comes to nailing track to concrete, it is never subjected to a tension load that we observed here today. It's always going to be a shear force. Now, had we attempted to remove that steel strap from the floor in a shear direction, it wouldn't have happened. I'd still be messing with it, I can tell you that right now. So although it appeared it was easy for a average sized man to rip that steel strap off that floor, the walls that we shoot down with that thing will never be subjected to that type of force unless it's in an earthquake or a tornado. So for the most part, you shoot a piece of track down with 25 of those nails, 2 every 16 inches, man, I'm telling you what, that thing ain't coming off the floor. So just in the defense of the process of using this for shooting track to the ground, it is absolutely acceptable to do so. Even though you saw I was able to rip that off, that was a significant amount of force. And you have to factor in the inertia of momentum of this large piece of steel. Once it came to a stop, acted like a sledgehammer head and ripped that strap up. So even though it appeared it was all my strength, a sledgehammer blow was delivered when that came to a stop. So very impressive nonetheless, and I just wanted to point that out to the untrained observer that the tool did in fact pass the test of something that I would deem acceptable to shoot track down to a floor on a commercial job site.